are doing is not going to affect their benefits.
No, in fact, what we're doing will help their benefits. Legitimate people, as a result of the work of DOGE, will receive more Social Security, not less. I want to emphasize that. As a result of the work of DOGE, legitimate recipients of Social Security will receive more money, not less money.
All right.
I want to emphasize that point and let the record show that I said this, and it will be proven out to be true.
Let me tell you something. You just got a lot of people's attention by saying that, Elon Musk. You should have just led with that. I mean, you're telling people by doing this, we're going to give people more money with their Social Security payments. What? You got people's attention now. I guarantee you now, there's a lot of people that's like, wait a minute. Let them cook, baby. Gertrude, let them cook now. Now, I know we was bombing Tesla dealerships earlier this week, but let the man cook. Let's hear what he got to say. We can get more money. What? Elon Musk and the DOGE team, they do an interview behind the scenes. So we get to take a look at the people that's actually running DOGE. And I think, I think you'll be impressed, because before the media was running 20-year-olds. Even though these 20-year-olds had IQs off the chart, but that's what they were pushing. That was the narrative that they were pushing. You're actually going to see that there are some business leaders. There's financial people, financial leaders here. Of course, you have Elon Musk. The team that they have assembled is impressive. And without further ado, let's get to behind the scenes with Elon and DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency.
For you, what's the most astonishing thing you've found out in this process?
The sheer amount of waste and fraud in the government. It is astonishing. It's mind-blowing. We routinely encounter wastes of $1 billion or more, casually. For example, like the simple survey that was literally 10-question survey that you could do with SurveyMonkey, cost you about $10,000. The government was being charged almost $1 billion for that.
For just the survey?
$1 billion for a simple online survey. Do you like the national park? And then there appeared to be no feedback loop for what would be done with that survey. So the survey would just go into nothing. It was like insane.
Listen, Interior Department, you're a former oil company CEO. You're reviewing contracts before they're approved for funding. What are you finding?
Well, Elon and Steve kind of stole my thunder a little bit, but I actually found that customer service survey contract. I actually have an example of one right here. I could have done this in high school. And
Is that right?
I found it.
Is that bad?
I found it on the weekends, because under the Biden administration, there was no departmental oversight within the Department of Interior whatsoever. None. We are now reviewing every single contract, every single grant, and when things come to my attention that don't make sense, I'm bringing them to Secretary Burgum, and he's been fantastic.
So under the Biden administration, there was no oversight. And this is where our taxpayer money is going. It's going to polls. It's going to surveys. And they're spending billions of dollars on surveys. And the survey is, do you like national parks? I mean, this is ridiculous. The more and more that they uncover, the more ridiculous it sounds. And I can see why now. There's such a focus on Elon Musk at trying to discredit him. I can see now why they are attacking Tesla, because every day there's more and more things that look like corruption. This looks like corruption to me, because it makes no sense. Why would I pay billions of dollars for a survey? A very simple survey like this, unless this is something nefarious. It might be something nefarious. I mean, they're going to find out. And the more and more they uncover, I think the more and more you're going to see the left attack Elon Musk. They're going to call him Hitler. They're going to, and it looks like what the organization Act Blue, I think it's a Democratic organization that's paying people to protest Tesla dealerships and quite possibly firebomb Tesla dealerships. I mean, this is crazy that there's there's possibly an organization that is funding domestic terrorism. and potentially it could be a democratic organization. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, they're uncovering more and more every day, and this has the attention of the nation.
He's a businessman. He's very supportive of DOGE. It's been wonderful to work with.
You technically are a special government employee, and you're supposed to be 130 days. Are you going to continue past that, or do you think that's what you're going to do? Or?
Yeah, we need you longer.
Well, I think we will have accomplished most of the work required to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion within that time frame.
So in that time frame, 130
Yes.
days. And the process is a report at some point, at 100 days? Or?
Not really a report. We are cutting the waste and fraud in real time. So every day that passes, our goal is to reduce the waste and fraud by $4 billion a day, every day, 7 days a week.
I think it's interesting that you'll hear legacy media say, "Oh, we want proof. We want proof." They're being very transparent. They're being extremely transparent. So not only can you see it on the DOGE website, but Elon, he posts it every day. There is a X account for DOGE and DOGE SEC. They're posting things on a daily basis. And I think it's interesting when people are outraged to the degree where, oh, we want proof, we want to see proof. But yet, if it wasn't for DOGE, you wouldn't know that these types of spendings with your money and my money was happening. And you didn't require any proof prior to DOGE. You didn't require any proof. Now it's all this manufactured outrage, and we're seeing it. And I can't believe that there was this much corruption in our government. I find it. I take that back. I find it difficult to believe, and I find it very, very believable. It's like both. It's like it's 50-50. It's like, man, I can't believe it, but I can believe it. It's crazy.
And so far, we are succeeding.
And I'm going to talk of the specifics, but there obviously are DOGE critics who are reading all kinds of stuff. Obviously, lawmakers on the other side of the aisle are attacking you, and they characterize the approach as this: fire, ready, and then aim. And how do you approach that? How do you respond to that?
Well, I do agree that we actually want to be careful in the cuts. So we want to measure twice, if not thrice, and cut once. Actually, that is our approach. They may characterize it as shooting from the hip, but it is anything but that. Which is not to say that we don't make mistakes. If we were to approach this with the standard of making no mistakes at all, that would be like saying someone in baseball's got to bat 1,000.
Right.
That's impossible.
Impossible.
So when we do make mistakes, we correct them quickly, and we move on.
Some people say this shouldn't take a rocket scientist. Steve Davis, you are a rocket scientist.
An actual rocket scientist.
Used to be. Yeah, I know. And now essentially you're the chief operating officer of DOGE. Day-to-day operations. Fair to say?
Yeah, part of the DOGE team.
So how did you end up here? What's the biggest challenge you see?
The reason I'm here, which is probably for many, is that I think the goal is incredibly inspiring. I think most of the taxpayers in the country would agree that in order to have the country going bankrupt would be a very bad thing, and therefore the country going not bankrupt is a good thing. That all of us are willing to kind of put our lives on hold in order to do. I think the thing that's special right now is we actually believe there's a chance to succeed. That there's an administration that's supportive and a great cabinet and just a great group that will actually make success a possible outcome. And I think that's, given the inspiring mission and given the non-zero chance of success, it was worth doing.
I think it's interesting. This man is an actual rocket scientist, and these guys should be looked at as patriots and heroes. They are in a lot of cases volunteering to help Elon Musk. I mean, this is a very, very accomplished group of individuals. And to me, it's like, wow, these guys are stepping up. They're stepping up for America and American citizens. And this is the way that we should be looking at this. If people are trying to convince you otherwise, then somehow, man, they must benefit from this. They must benefit from this, or there is some type of serious crime that they're trying to cover up.
I'd just like to sort of reemphasize that point. The success of DOGE is only possible with President Trump and with the outstanding cabinet that he selected.
Facts.
It would be impossible without the support of the president and the cabinet.
But you're
Facts.
finding the money. I mean, it's big numbers, right?
Yeah, like Elon said, the minimum impulse bid is often $1 billion. So, for example, the $830 million, which was the online survey, that's an enormous amount of money. That wouldn't have been found if the DOGE team wasn't working with it, in that case, the Department of Interior. But then taking it one step further, DOGE then publishes these things on our website for maximum transparency. So now the general public, it would have been impossible for the general public to have seen that. Now
Facts.
anyone can just log into doge.gov anytime and see these payments. As they're not yet in real time, they're close, but they'll probably be in real time within the next few weeks.
But
Yeah,
the process, it still involves Congress, right?
I love it.
At some level?
We try to keep Congress as informed as possible, but the law does say that money needs to be spent correctly. It should not be spent fraudulently or wastefully. It's not contrary to Congress to avoid waste and fraud. It is consistent with the law and consistent with Congress. And we've seen actually great support, at least from the Republican side of the House, and occasionally some Democrats too. It's nice to see people cross the aisle once in a while. But usually when they attack DOGE, they never attack any of the specifics. So they'll say what we're doing is somehow unconstitutional or illegal or whatever. We're like, well, which line of the cost savings do you disagree with?
Right.
And they can't point to any. And we list them all on doge.gov and the DOGE handle on X. And you'll see just outrageous things, one outrageous thing after another.
Joe Gabbia, besides Elon, you're one of several billionaires here, co-founder of Airbnb.
The co-founder of Airbnb, a very successful company, as we all know. A lot of us use Airbnb. This man is part of the DOGE team. Wow.
And you wanted to help out.
I bumped into Anthony and Elon probably back in February, and they told me something about a mine that was dealt with retirement, and they said they needed somebody to help out to fix retirement in the government.
Crazy.
I love the challenge, so I jumped on board, and it turns out there is actually a mine in Pennsylvania that houses every paper document for the retirement process in the government. Now picture this. This giant cave has 22,000 filing cabinets, stacked 10 high to house 400 million pieces of paper. It's a process that started in the 1950s and largely hasn't changed in the last 70 years. And so as he dug into it, we found retirement cases that had so much paper, they had to fit it on a shipping pallet.
Damn.
So the process takes many months, and we're going to make it just many days.
Will it be digitized or how?
Absolutely. So this will be an online digital process that will take just a few days at most. And I really think, it's an injustice to civil servants who are subjected to these processes that are older than the age of half the people watching your show tonight. So we really believe that the government can have an Apple Store-like experience, beautifully designed, great user experience, modern systems.
Because right now it's by hand.
Yes, the retirement process is all by paper, literally with people carrying paper in manila envelopes into this gigantic mine.
So they can't retire more than a certain number every month.
Yes.
About 8,000 a month.
That's how the reason we discovered it was we were saying like, well, let's encourage voluntary retirement. They said, well, the most you they could do is 8,000 a month, and even under normal circumstances, it can take 6 to 9 months just to have your retirement paperwork processed.
6 to 9 months to have your retirement paperwork processed, and this would not have been uncovered unless DOGE was doing what DOGE does, and it is uncovering wasteful spending, it's uncovering fraud, and it's uncovering processes that need to be revamped. Obviously, I mean, this is crazy to me that it would even. First of all, that it's on a paper system still in a mine, and that it would take almost a half a year to almost a year for your retirement paperwork to be processed. This is insane. This is insane. And if you ask people who are just common sense thinking type people, does this bother you that they are uncovering this? The answer would be no. Like, man, especially in today's climate, who wants to wait? Everybody is, I want it now, I want it now, I want it now. Imagine if you turned in paperwork to retire and it took 6 to 9 months in order for them to process the retirement paperwork. Come on, man.
And they often get the calculations wrong. So we're like, well, why would it take so long to retire? And they're like, well, because of the mine. And we're like, what do you mean a mine? What's a mine got to do with retiring? And that's where we discovered that all the retirement stuff is still done by paper in a process that looks identical to what occurred in the 1950s. Like if we took a snapshot of the mine when it first started in the 50s to today, it looks the same.
It's amazing. So how long do you think it'll take to turn over?
Mine does
We're
look
working
cool.
as fast as we can. Probably next couple of months we'll have this overhauled. And I really think, again, like, why are we subjecting our federal workers to processes that they actually have to go through a training just to retire from the government? There's a whole training program that people have to go through in order to retire. I think we can do better for them.
Aram Mogadassi, DOGE.
Wait a minute. A training process to retire. I think we got that part down packed. We don't need training for that. None of us need retirement training.
There's a lot of mystery about Social Security and a lot of words about it here's what Democrats have been saying about it.
It's absurd that Elon Musk is trying to eliminate billions of dollars from Social Security.
Elon Musk and President Trump have set their sights on cutting Social Security.
Their goal is clear: destroy Social Security from within.
You're in the building. I mean, you're in the computers. What's happening there? What are you doing?
Yeah, it doesn't line up with my experience on the ground. And I'll say the two improvements that we're trying to make to Social Security are helping people that legitimately get benefits, protect them from fraud that they experience every day on a routine basis, and also make the experience better. And I'll give you one example is at Social Security, one of the first things we learned is that they get phone calls every day of people trying to change direct deposit information. So when you want to change your bank account, you can call Social Security. We learned 40% of the phone calls that they get are from fraudsters.
40%?
That's right. Almost half.
Yes, and they steal people's Social Security is what happens. Is they call in, they say, they claim to be a retiree, then they convince the Social Security person on the phone to change where the money's flowing. It actually goes to some fraudster. This is happening all day, every day, and then somebody doesn't receive their Social Security. It's because of all the fraud loopholes in the Social Security system.
How do you?
That is insane, man. 40% are fraud call-ins. People that are criminals, obviously taking Social Security money. This right here is just a way bigger problem than any of us guessed. I mean, a lot of us had some type of inclination that, there's problem in government spending with our money, so on and so forth, just with the information that we've seen over the years. Now that there is a actual organization that's actually doing something about this and digging into it, and what they are finding is alarming. It's very scary, actually.
Reassure people that what you all are doing is not going to affect their benefits.
No, in fact, what we're doing will help their benefits. Legitimate people, as a result of the work of DOGE, will receive more Social Security, not less. I want to emphasize that. As a result of the work of DOGE, legitimate recipients of Social Security will receive more money, not less money.
All right.
I want to emphasize that point and let the record show that I said this, and it will be proven out to be true.
Let me tell you something. You just got a lot of people's attention by saying that, Elon Musk. You should have just led with that. I mean, you're telling people by doing this, we're going to give people more money with their Social Security payments. What? You got people's attention now. I guarantee you now, there's a lot of people that's like, wait a minute. Let them cook, baby. Gertrude, let them cook now. Now, I know we was bombing Tesla dealerships earlier this week, but let the man cook. Let's hear what he got to say. We can get more money. What? Yeah, more money. By finding wasteful spending and fraud, they can actually give American citizens more money that's on Social Security. We have to let this man cook. Let him cook, man. I mean, that's great news.
So let's check back on this in the future.
So Washington Post, the Social Security Administration website crashed 4 times in 10 days this month because the servers were overloaded, blocking millions of retirees and disabled veterans from logging into their online accounts. Freaked people out. Is that going to change?
Yes, we're going to make sure that the website stays online.
Yeah. I mean, but is it a result of going in there
No.
or something you're doing?
No. The amount of issues that were with the Social Security system are enormous. As an example, there are over 15 million people that are over the age of 120 that are marked as alive in the Social Security system.
And that's an accurate figure.
Yes.
Correct.
15 million.
Correct. This has been something that's been identified as a problem. Again, pre-existing problems since 2008 at least, from an IG report. So there were some great people working at the Social Security Administration that found this, 2008, and nothing was done. And so 15 to 20 million Social Security numbers that were clearly fraudulent were floating around that can be used only for bad intentions. There'd be no way to use those for good intentions. And so one of the things the DOGE team is doing is carefully and very methodically looking at those and making sure that any fraudulent ones are eliminated.
Brad Smith.
20 million accounts of people that were at the age of 120 years or older. And this was found in 2008 and nothing was done about it. So they allow this to continue after it being found for what, 17 years? Wow. Imagine how, I mean, I would love for someone to actually do the calculations and find out how much money has been wasted, how much money has been potentially stolen, some type of criminal aspect to it since this finding. I would just like to know that 17 years, how much money are we talking about from 2008 to now? This is wild, man.
When I say that our job is tech support, I really mean it.
Yeah.
We have to fix the computers. If the computers can't talk to each other, you can't get research done. If the computers can't stay online, people won't receive their Social Security. So what we have here are a bunch of failing computer systems that are preventing people from receiving their benefits, that are preventing people from preventing research from happening, that are extremely vulnerable to fraud, and we're fixing it.
Kind of changing the system overall. That's, I guess, what people are afraid of, is they don't know what this is all looking like, and is it going to affect me in the long term?
It's going to affect them. It's going to affect people very positively. So the changes that we're doing here will ensure the solvency of the American government, of the American, of the United States of America. This is what we're trying to do: is ensure that people do receive their benefits in the future, and you can only receive your benefits if the country is operating in a healthy and competent way.
DOGE, Office of Personnel Management, you're a Morgan Stanley banker, M&A guy.
Yeah.
You know money, and this is a lot of money sloshing around.
There's a lot of money sloshing around. There's a lot of money sloshing out the door. And if you look at the federal government and the way the workforce works, it's really a one-way ratchet over decades. So
it's only going up.
It's only going up. You never take it away. So that leaves you with duplicative functions, it leaves you with overstaffing, and it leaves you with functions in the wrong places. A good example of overstaffing would be the IRS has got 1,400 people who are dedicated to provisioning laptops and cell phones. So if you join the IRS, you get a laptop and a cell phone, you're provisioned. So if each of those IRS officers or employees provisioned 2 employees per day, you could provision the entire IRS in a little more than a month. So 12 times a year,
It doesn't make any sense. Why would you have 1,400 people whose only job it is to give out a laptop and a phone?
Right. The whole IRS could be handled once a month. So that doesn't make any sense. And President Trump's been very clear: it's scalpel, not hatchet, and that's the way it's getting done. And then once those decisions are made, there's a very heavy focus on being generous, being caring, being compassionate, and treating everyone with dignity and respect. And if you look at how people have started to leave the government, it is largely through voluntary means. There's voluntary early retirement, there's voluntary separation payments. We put in place deferred resignation, the 8-month severance program. So there's a very heavy bias towards programs that are long dated, that are generous, that allow people to exit and go and get a new job in the private sector. And you've heard a lot of news about rifts, about people getting fired. At this moment in time, less than 0.15, not 1.5, less than 0.15 of the federal workforce has actually been given a RIF notice.
So they're selected if they're leaving.
It is
basically almost no one's gotten fired. That's what we're saying.
Tom Krause, working at Treasury.
That's interesting. Basically, no one, and they love to push an opposite narrative. Like, you know, all these people are losing their jobs. And look, if you're if you work for a company, I've worked for many large companies in my tenure, my work tenure. They all want to cut wasteful spending. They all watch their money. They all watch their bottom line, man. They're all over their P&L. And I work in supply chain. So they're all over departments like me because they're always looking for how can we get our raw material and, you know, whatever other purchases that we need to make. How can we get it at a lower cost? All the time. This is something that is a regular thing, man. They want us putting out RFQs, and they want us checking in with our vendors quite often. So you see this quite often with companies. And for those that say, oh, well, the government isn't a company, well, it should be a company because you're dealing with employees and you're dealing with a large sum of money and you're dealing with countries. How many countries are we dealing with? You know, so this is a situation where it should be ran like a business, and it should be ran like a company. And what they are uncovering here is staggering.
You are having access to the payment system, oversees all the outgoing payments. Essentially, those payments were going places we didn't know where they were going, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the case, Brett. You know, as an ex-CFO of a big public tech company, really what we're doing is we're applying public company standards to the federal government. And it is alarming how the financial operations and financial management is set up today. There is actually really only one bank account that's used to disperse all monies that go out of the federal government.
Time out. One bank account.
It's a big one.
It's a big one.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. A couple weeks ago, it had $800 billion in it, but it's the Treasury General account. So when you hear, you know, some of my colleagues here, what they're talking about in terms of the fraud, you have to ask, well, why is this allowed to happen at a financial level? Well, it's actually quite simple but alarming. The Treasury, up until now, and thanks to President Trump, we're fixing this. In fact, there was an executive order that he just signed the other day, which is protecting America's bank account, because it really is the taxpayers' money. You know, one, we're changing the culture. The culture is been not a lot of caring and not a lot of commitment to doing what's right relative to financial operations. There's a $500 billion of fraud every year. There's hundreds of billion dollars of improper payments, and we can't pass an audit. The consolidated financial report is produced by Treasury, and we cannot pass it on. We have material weaknesses. What that means is that if I was a public company CFO, I would effectively be removed. I couldn't file financial statements. I couldn't issue securities, which of course we depend on. Can't pass an audit.
Right. The federal government cannot pass an audit. It's impossible. In fact, in order to pass an audit, you need the information necessary to pass an audit. You need to have the payment codes, you need to have the payment explanation, and you need to have a person you can contact to understand why that payment was made. None of those things were mandatory until just recently, just a few weeks ago. In fact, maybe last week?
Yeah, we're serving 580 plus agencies. And up until very recently, effectively they could say make the payment and Treasury just sent it out as fast as possible. No verification. And so what we're doing is what any household would do. But imagine you're a household, you have a bank account, everyone has an ATM card connected to that account, everyone has a checkbook connected to that account. It's not just your children, it's not just your parents, it's your in-laws, it's your extended family, and they all can go to the account and disperse funds. No questions asked, no justification.
Not my family.
No verification.
Is the battle between government of decades and decades of buildup and business, which you guys are, is that like a train hitting each other? I mean, it seems like it's pretty disruptive.
Well, this is a revolution, and I think it might be the biggest revolution in government since the original revolution. But at the end of the day, America is going to be in much better shape. America will be solvent. the critical programs that people depend upon will work, and it's going to be a fantastic future. But are we going to get a lot of complaints along the way? Absolutely. You know, one of the things I learned at PayPal was you know who complains the loudest and with the most amount of fake righteous indignation? The fraudsters. It's a tell. There's some of these NGOs that are crazy.
That's crazy. The fraudsters, and you know, obviously we're dealing with an antiquated system. There needs to be a complete overhaul, and I don't know how anybody who has common sense thinking and pays taxes has a problem with this. I've not spoken to one person. Now I've seen politicians on the Democratic side speak against it, but I have not talked to one person that I know personally, or you know, someone I just met in a group. We're talking, and we'll have this conversation in regards to DOGE. I haven't heard one person say that they are against transparency, that they want to know exactly where their money's going. So what legacy media is feeding you, and what I'm seeing on the ground, at the ground level, two totally different messages. Nobody that I know personally, nobody that I've spoken to, whether I know them personally or they're an acquaintance or they're a friend of a friend, will have this dialogue. Nobody has said, oh, well, I don't want transparency. I don't want to know where my money's going. Everybody's curious. Everybody would look, let Elon and DOGE cook. We want to see where our money is going. Absolutely.
The $2 billion to Stacey Abrams' NGO that basically didn't exist and suddenly gets $2 billion awarded from the federal government.
Crazy.
She has, why? And there are many such cases like that.
I think that most people, common sense-wise, would say the fraud's got to end.
Yeah.
They're concerned about the 94-year-old mother who skips a check or somehow doesn't get what she's supposed to get.
Right. And what we're trying to say is actually that the 94-year-old grandmother is actually, as a result of DOGE's work, going to get her check. She's not going to be robbed by fraudsters like she's getting robbed today. And the solvency of the federal government will ensure that she continues to receive those Social Security checks, that Medicare continues to work, without which we're all doomed. The reason we're doing this is because if we don't do it, America's going to go insolvent. We're going to go bankrupt. And nobody's going to get anything.
Why are you guys all doing it? I mean, you can pipe up, but you don't have to be here, right? I mean, you don't have to be doing this.
I have blessed with four beautiful.
Think about it, man. These are very accomplished people. They're not beholden to anyone. They don't have to do this. The people that I think that are beholden to, some type of evil organization, it seems like, man, some type of super criminal organization. It seems like it's all the people that is protesting and talking against DOGE. They're trying to stall it. You have all these people, they must be beholden to someone. And I wonder who that someone or what organization this is, because it doesn't make any sense. Judges want to stop this. Politicians want to speak out against this. And the only thing that I can think of is you benefit from the crime, because we see that there's a crime scene. We're getting all the details, but they're trying to stop them from getting the details. Like, man, we just want to get in the way, and we'll cause disruption any way we know how. And it's to me, it shows us clearly that there is some type of malfeasance that's going on, and you guys are looking more and more guilty every single day.
Children, my wife and I, but we have a real fiscal crisis, and this is not sustainable. And what's worse, back to my children and everyone else's children, is we are burdening them with that debt. And it's only going to grow.
Steve, there's not a lot of hierarchy here. You guys are kind of all approaching it in different, silos, but with the same kind of goal, right? I mean, this is really Silicon Valley, private sector colliding with government.
Yeah, exactly. And we're headed in a bad path, but the chance of success exists. And just the one that just is in my head right now, which is a fairly mundane one, but I think is very illustrative, is credit cards. There are in the federal government around 4.6 million credit cards for around 2.3 to 2.4 million employees. This doesn't make sense.
Right.
And so one of the things all of the teams have worked on is we've worked with the agencies and said, do you need all of these credit cards? Are they being used? Can you tell us physically where they are?
I hope they're getting frequent flying.
Actually, on a different note, the rewards program the federal government has is actually not very good. That's a whole other...
It's a negotiation.
Sure, yeah, exactly. But so far, the teams have worked together, and they've reduced it from 4.6 million to 4.3 million. So
we're taking it easy. But clearly there should not be, more. There should not be more credit cards than there are people. Yeah.
Joe, middle-level employees, are they seeing a benefit to being empowered by taking out bureaucracy? I mean,
absolutely. I mean, I think what you're seeing is taking the best of Silicon Valley and the business world and bringing it into the government. We're bringing the best practices and the best methodologies, and people are inspired. Right, especially on the retirement process, which I can speak to. They've been trying to modernize and get off of paper since early 2000s, very unsuccessfully. Every attempt has gone over budget and been canceled because it hasn't been successful. And so, I showed up and I feel like I'm here because it's an interesting problem. We can use design to solve it and good engineering, and really create a better experience for everybody.
We're talking about elementary financial controls that are necessary for any company to function. So, like, if the federal government, if a commercial company operated the way the federal government does, then it would be immediately go bankrupt. It would be delisted. The officers would be arrested. The changes we're putting in place will enable the federal government to pass an audit. It will enable taxpayers to know where the money is going and know that their hard-earned tax dollars are being spent well.
Heard it there, man. Virtue signaling. It's unconscionable what we as American citizens is going through, what they are uncovering, and the great lengths that they will go to stop them from uncovering what looks to be crime. A lot of us have always had this thought that there is some type of malfeasance in the government. Now we're seeing it in real time, and there is some type of evil organization or evil effort that's being put into play to stop Elon Musk and DOGE, to stop President Trump from exposing wasteful spending at the very least, and quite possibly high-level crime. I mean, this is incredible, man. And if someone told me, hey, man, I'll write this movie. This would be movie material. This would be a series, an award-winning series, an award-winning movie, because it's got everything you want. And I can't believe it, and I can believe it at the same damn time. It just causes just so many mixed emotions, man. Like, wow. Because for a lot of us, man, America is the hero. It's the world hero. It's what's been presented to us our entire life. This is what we would like to believe in our country. Our country is a beautiful country, man. We have a lot of opportunities for people. It's a beautiful country. And I think that you have the few. You have the few that can ruin that, and they have been ruining it. And the American taxpayer are the ones that have been paying the price, literally paying the price, man. We're the ones that's funding this, man. Think about all this money that they're uncovering, all of this, what appears to be crime. Like, wow, we're sending out this money for politicians and bureaucrats and whoever to enrich themselves off of our money, and then they speak to us. And they give us these great speeches, man. Great attire, vernacular, spectacular, great speech writers, man. They hit on our emotions, and they make us believe in them. All the while, robbing us as American taxpayers is it's disheartening. It really is. It just really is, man. And the more and more you find out, the more disappointed you become. You become very disappointed. But we're immersed in this now. We want to know. We want to know, and we want to clean it up. We're not giving up. We want to clean it up, man. We have families out here. We have people that we love. We have young people that's going to be inheriting what could potentially be a huge mess, and we don't want them to inherit that. Especially if you're a parent, man. You love your children. You love your children. You look at your children. You're like, man, I want to make this a better place for them. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So behind the scenes of DOGE, man, I'm glad they did this interview. I'm really glad they did this interview. Shout out to Elon Musk and the DOGE team, Department of Government Efficiency, and shout out and thank you to President Donald Trump for putting this together, implementing it, and we like what we're seeing, and we hate what we're seeing.